Hey guys, it's me, Nalthazar, and one of my coalition mates requested that I make a video about an alternate version that I tried out for the Land Ho deck. And I actually kind of prefer it to the original Land Ho deck. It's pretty cool. Due to a bug, there's one card that I think that should be in the deck that I can't put in it, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it is. So I actually like using Nissa Worldwaker for the deck, and I thought it could be fun for you to see sort of how I go about making my decks in the first place. So in looking at some of the new creatures that have recently come out, I've tried out Cavalier of Thorns, you've seen that. I've tried Omnath, you've seen that. I've tried Golos, you've seen that. But I really hadn't tried out Wakeroot Elemental much, and it's an incredibly powerful card. And what I really didn't think about is that the buff that it gets is permanent, or it gives, right? So that +2/+2 for each land you control is permanent. And so it got me thinking that if you had just green gem converters in your deck, so lands that produce only green gems, then you could be getting like +10/+10 for each of those green gem converters each turn, which if you've got 5 of them out, could be like +50 power per turn. And I thought that would be really cool. So I decided to try it out, and it worked way better than I thought it would. So that made me think, all right, so what gem converters can I use that will convert to just green? And it ultimately boiled down to you're going to want to make a mono green deck. And Nissa Worldwaker is definitely the best choice for this. Now I know that Dragon's Horde is not a land, but I put it in there because of the card draw and the gem conversion. Plaza of Harmony is going in because it's going to act as gem conversion and a land. I'm going to put Guildmage's Forum in. It acts as gem converters, except you do have to swap this one out if you're up against another mono green deck. So if that happens, unfortunately, you have to swap it out. I don't really like Rupture Spire, so I'm not going to put it in for a monocolored deck. I only like it for multicolored decks. We're going to throw in Memorial to Unity. And this one's going to be particularly nice with one of the other supports we're going to be adding in just a minute. So let's see, Hinterland Harbor is actually going to convert to green if 5 or more gems are green. So once you start getting your lands out, it's just a guaranteed gem converter to green, and it's a land. And the last one is Lotus Field. And so since they've changed Lotus Field, it's actually rather playable now, and it's pretty good. And if it destroys Memorial to Unity on its first casting, it fetches you a creature. So that's pretty good too. And then, so this here rounds out 8 out of 10. We're going to want some removal, and we're going to want some more card draw. So for removal, we're just going to go ahead and throw in Death Sprout because, Death Sprout's awesome. It's going to fetch a land. It's going to kill something. It's amazing. And for card draw, we're going to go ahead and throw in Nissa's Revelation. Draw 5, gain 20. So that rounds out the deck. Let's go ahead, throw it into the training grounds. Oh, before I do, the thing that I was saying that's bugged, right? So because, here, we'll get back to that. Because Wakeroot Elemental says whenever you convert 2 or more gems to green, your first other creature gets that +2/+2 buff, I immediately thought, well, what if I take Path of Discovery and use Nissa's first ability, which is going to create 4 green forest tokens, that's going to then trigger the Explore 4 times and then convert 6 more to green, which means that you're going to be getting 5 green gem triggers. But unfortunately, Explorer, for some reason, does not count as green conversion for Wakeroot Elemental, so you can't use that. So let's go ahead, throw it into the training grounds, and see how big we can get our first creature in our first match. Now, because we're against Koth, we're going to need to go ahead and destroy the red gems as much as possible and not allow Koth to make red matches because, Koth, right? So some of what you're going to see is me making defensive matches so that Koth doesn't get red matches. Now, unfortunately, Koth is going to get a red match here, but he's wasting it with this. Okay, so I'll burn myself a little bit, but I'm honestly not worried about that at all. So we're just going to go ahead, keep making matches, and bad luck. Koth is getting more red, but once again, that's okay. We're going to start getting some gem conversion in just a moment, and then on top of that gem conversion that we're going to be getting, we're also going to have a Death Sprout charging up. And we're getting closer to our first ability, which is going to enable us to convert more gems also. So one of the nice things about this deck is that with all of the gem conversion, you've just got an overabundance of mana. So in having so much mana, it enables you to play everything that you want. It has a lot of consistency, which is really nice. And if you need to use Nissa's second ability to draw creatures, you can go ahead and do that too. So I'm looking at what is here. We're going to destroy his creature. We're going to play another land, which is going to be another load. Oh, it's the hinterland. Oh, that's good. Having more different lands, obviously, is really nice. So this next turn, instead of playing more forests, I'm actually going to go ahead and draw cards depending on what I actually draw myself, right? So we're going to see what I draw after all the gem conversion is done. It's a Lotus Field, so I'm going to go ahead and use that to draw cards. Given what I just drew, I'm actually going to go ahead and throw away that Hinterland Harbor. Let me quickly check my supports to see if my Lotus Field is the one that got destroyed last turn. It is, which means that if I play this Lotus Field, it's going to get destroyed. So let me do another quick check. I'm sorry, I'm coming off of being sick. You can hear it in my voice a little bit. So I'm going to play the Lotus Field second, just in case it destroys the monument thing. But of course, that first ability, oh well, not a big deal. So we're going to get more forests out of that. All right, so we'll play that next turn. I meant to play it. I was just tapping my screen really fast. So for those of you that have been playing this a while, I'm sure that you're used to tap your screen as fast as you can syndrome to make it so that you rush through animations more quickly. I'll have to be a little bit more careful about that here, because I do absolutely want to cast this Nissa's Revelation here, right? So we're going to cast it. And so right now we're really just trying to get into the Wakeroot Elemental, and we just got it. So next turn is where all of the fun shenanigan stuff gets to happen. So this actually happens to be sort of the slowest version I've seen of this deck. This is sort of a poor version of how it works, but it's still just fine, right? It's going to do exactly what we need it to do. So we're going to make more elemental tokens. We're going to get all the possible green matches, of course, without getting the only one that's going to give us mana. But it's okay. We've got a 5 match, so can't really complain too much about getting a 5 match. All right, I'm going to look and see if there's a better match than what I was originally thinking. There is, so I'm going to take that blue one so I can get that green landfall. And then you'll see that next turn, so the Cavalier of Thorns is coming out this turn, but you're going to see next turn when all of the lands start going off, you're going to see that Cavalier of Thorns is going to get buffed up really high, unless Koth plays some hasty monster that kills the Cavalier this turn. He doesn't, so here's where you're going to see the Cavalier starting to get buffed up. So it's going from 7 to 13 to 19 to 25 to 31. And then I think that's it for this turn, no? Apart from the landfall. And you might be wondering, why is it that you're not running more green conversion spells? And I'm not running more green conversion spells just because this deck really doesn't need it. I'd rather have the lands that are doing it for me every single turn than a conversion spell. Now here you'll see that I am actually using Nissa's Third. I know that I've talked about not using it before, but I'm not using Explore, so I can freely use the ability and not worry about it. It's just going to make it so that Koth dies this turn instead of next. So yeah, Koth got smushed. The Cavalier got pretty big, pretty fast. We'll go ahead, we'll throw it into one more game, just so you can see if it runs faster or not. It probably should, really, once you get either one of your creatures down. it winds up running pretty quickly, and typically the gem conversion is going to play in your favor. You saw that most of that game, I had Death Sprouts charged up in my hand, waiting to go. So it really actually has quite a reasonable amount of control for a green deck, which is really nice. And I really like that. I'm a big fan of control. So I'm going to go ahead, make that match sort of an obvious first match for me. And I'm getting all my Death Sprouts again. So, all right. I've got a bunch of these, so I don't need more than 2 of those. I honestly am not going to need that most likely. So I'm going to go ahead and... I'm just reordering my hand so that it is better for what I'm trying to do, right? So there's so much card draw here that I can go ahead and sacrifice a little bit there. I'm making this match, hoping for Cascade, which I got. The Cavalier is giving us a land, which is good. And so now we can start with our gem conversions. I believe that that's a duplicate. It is. So I'm going to throw it away. I don't need that duplicate. The activated gem isn't going to do anything for us right now. It will ultimately do something for us, but just not yet. So let's see what we draw this turn, but we're in pretty good shape here. I'm going to let the Nissa's Revelation cast this turn because it's going to refill the hand. We've got a 5 match, so because there's a 5 match, I'm going to throw away that Death Sprout just so that I can draw as many cards as possible. I want to get into that Elemental, and there he is, which is great. So with that, let's go ahead and do Lotus Field and then Harbor, and then, you know what, I just want all the gem conversion out in the world because it's nasty, right? And then I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, I want the mana here. Now, I know that I'm going to lose a support for playing the Lotus Field, but the Lotus Field is going to convert more gems than the other one was. So it's kind of like having 2 supports down for 1. So I like that a lot. And here we go. We're already getting, we're reaping our rewards for that. We're going to have the Wakeroot Elemental come down this turn. I'm going to have the Wakeroot Elemental come down this turn instead of playing that other support because we just want to start buffing that first creature as quickly as possible. Especially since Kaya was going to be playing cards here. It was likely that she'd be putting herself in a position where she could start to destroy the Cavalier of Thorns if I didn't start buffing him. So here we go. Cavalier starting to buff up. We're going to destroy what Kaya has. These forests are going to convert gems to green, which is going to buff the Cavalier again. It's giving us a 5 match, so we're going to go ahead and use it on that Angel. Why not? Might as well get another land support. The more lands we have, the bigger our buff is going to be, and we like that. So let's see. Are any of these Dragon's Horde? I don't think so. Yes. Oh, they are. Okay, in that case, let's go ahead and take that 5 match just to move it out a little bit. That's a Memorial of Unity. That's okay. That's going to be for the Dragon's Horde. So let's go ahead and draw some cards and give them some mana. And now the Cavalier of Thorns is going to be able to tank whatever Kaya throws at us unless she plays a kill spell. So that token's gone. Goodbye. And now the Cavalier is going to be getting even bigger. And you'll see that now it's going up by even larger increments because we were able to draw up an extra land last turn. I'm going to be using my first ability here again. So that's going to cause it to gain yet another buff. And that buff is worth more to me than converting the forests into the leader elemental tokens. And so with this, you'll see that Kaya's at 88. And with dropping the extra elementals, I mean, it's over. She's done. There's no hope for her. And that's it. So that's the deck in a nutshell. That was very much so more typical than the previous match against Koth. But the deck is really effective. You get a massive, massive wall. You've got so much gem conversion that you can use Nissa's second to draw extra cards. You can use her first for more gem conversion. As you saw in the first game, you can use her third to make the tokens even stronger. But it's a really fun deck. I'd strongly advise trying it if you want to give it a whirl. Really quickly, I'll go ahead, pull up the deck again so you can see it one more time. I hope you enjoyed the video. You hope you give it a shot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So here's a deck, and have a great rest of your day.